The fees are very less, the duration is less. It's not a degree, it's a certification. If you're comfortable writing an SOP on your own, then fine. Otherwise, just go with any counselor. So for the first 2 months, 2 months, 3 months, I did not get a job at all. Part-time jobs you could do anyway. I'm working as a chef, but I don't really have an experience in cooking. There is a possibility that if you're good at communicating and just cracking deals, you just might end up getting a higher pay. And the most of the jobs here were labor based. Choose a proper intake.
Hello everyone, welcome to College Dunia Study Abroad. My name is Anshika and today we have with us Nachiket who is pursuing his graduate certification in project management from Conestoga College. Hi Nachiket, welcome to the channel.
Hi, Anshika. Nice to meet you.
Same here. Could you begin by just providing a brief background about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a BTech IT engineer, which means that I did my Bachelor of Technology in Information Technology from Conestoga College of Engineering, Mumbai. And after that, within 6 months, I came here directly for January 2023 intake in Conestoga College. And I'm pursuing project management course.
So, you're doing a graduate certification. I want to know what colleges did you apply to and what made you do this graduate certification? What benefits, or are there any pros and cons to pursuing a graduate certification to a master's degree?
Yeah, so that's a long question. I can go on and on about this, but I'll try to be short and precise. So, the reason why chose this course over anything else was because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I wanted to gain experience, especially global experience, because of which I decided to do this course instead of an MS and MBA or anything else. I just wasn't sure. So I wanted to do something that is not too like time consuming and at the same time which would just lodge me into the marketplace here. And you know with all that experience, I could decide to do maybe an MS or an MBA later in life. So pros and cons about this. The pros are that the fees are very less, the duration is less. At the same time, there's a practical approach to this, to the learning. I mean, and immediately after the course is done, you could just start working here, and after working, you could decide, right, if you want to do a master's degree. These are the pros, and the cons are that it's not a degree, it's a certification. So obviously the value of a degree would be greater than that of a certification. And at the same time, now project management is still a managerial course, but it is not equivalent to say an MBA in a particular domain.
Yeah.
Now, uh, what you should choose, that would totally depend on what you want to do when it comes to like your profile, and at the same time, if you really are keen on doing what you want to do. Uh, Unless you're keen, I think you should experience things and then just go for what you feel like you want to do.
Got it. So you
Right.
mentioned that the course is really short. How long is this course and how is the course structured?
So the course is only for 8 months, and it's structured uh, in 2 semesters.
Mhm.
Uh, so there are like 6 to 8 courses each semester,
Okay.
and yeah, you just have to complete the courses, individual courses, pass them with a particular percentage, and then you're done.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So are there any other colleges that you applied to or you had used before you came here?
I did, but it wasn't like uh, I had a preference, a personal preference. It was like I was just going based on ranking and the employability rate.
Mhm.
And so apart from Conestoga, there are colleges like Amber, Seneca, and Sheridan. which are equivalent, but they are in Toronto, and this is in Kitchener. So depending on uh, if you want to stay in a city, if you want to stay in a suburb, uh, and based on your profile. So for example, mine is IT, right? And Kitchener, I'm in Kitchener right now, and Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge. These are like considered together, and basically Kitchener is on the outskirts of Waterloo City.
Okay.
Waterloo City is the IT hub.
Yeah.
So that is one of the reasons why I decided this college instead of any other.
That's great choice. I mean, it makes a difference if you're close to the city or if you're not, because in employment, it helps when you go to look for jobs. So, how is the application process? Did you have to submit the LORs, SOP, any scores?
SOP was required. Then IELTS was required. IELTS, the minimum score was, I think it was 6.5 overall, and individually not less than 6. I had scored over 7.5, so I was fairly above the threshold. But yeah, not much. It was, the process was fairly simple. SOP. Now, if you're comfortable writing an SOP on your own, then fine. Otherwise, just go with any counselor. Yeah.
So, did you take any help from College Dunia while in the process?
So actually, initially I wasn't really sure if I wanted to, get help and then do it. Because I was just, comfortable with writing, long paras and stuff like that. So I was just gonna do it on my own. But then I asked College Dunia to help me out. They did a good job. But then again, I wrote it on my own. And then finally, I think I submitted my own copy and I got it directly. So yeah, it definitely helped me. College Dunia definitely helped me.
You get
But
directions, then you get an example of how it should be structured and how you should work.
exactly, yeah. So when somebody is experienced at something, and even if you're good at certain things, it's better to gain advice from experienced individuals and then apply your own capacity.
For sure. So you said that the course is really short and the tuition fee is less. Can you give an approximation of how much this whole 8 months would cost you in terms of the tuition fee?
Just the tuition fee, or
I mean, the expenses that you give to the college, that includes probably a library fee or any extra fees that they.
so my total fee was, I think it was 18,000 odd or 19,000 odd Canadian dollars.
Okay.
Which comes down to 9-10 lakhs in Indian rupees. So that is around the range for most of the colleges and for individual courses. So that is definitely very less as compared to MS or MBA. MBA is just unbelievable, but yeah, this wasn't too much, but at the same time, that is not the only expense that I had to get rid of, because there's this thing called the GIC in Canada, and yeah, guaranteed investment certificate, and for that you have to deposit 10,000 Canadian dollars before you apply for visa and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So basically the total expense is not necessarily for tuition, it is 19,000, but the total goes above that
Then
easily.
that money you get each month, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
Correct.
you get it back. You don't have to give it to the university or to Canada.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And-
basically you have to show it.
Yeah.
You have to have it.
Yeah. So, are there any, like, what are the monthly expenses that you give, probably say rent and groceries each month?
So I am living in a private room. I have a private room, I mean. Many people that come here have a shared accommodation, which means that they share a private room too.
Yeah.
Now because I have the private room, I have a little more expenses than others. So
Mhm.
my rent is over 700 Canadian dollars per month,
Mhm.
and for groceries, um, depending on your consumption, it
Yeah.
could range from $50 to $100.
Okay. Got it. So, are there any part times available? I mean, it's a really short course and the fee is not too much. So, you could
Mhm.
do without a part time, but are there options available? And did you ever sign up for a part time job or you plan to do one?
Of course, so I actually am doing it right now,
Okay.
and yeah. So when I came here, it was winter, right?
Mhm.
So in North America, especially Canada, uh, due to the winters, there's a there's a shortage of people, just going out, and basically there's a total freeze in every way.
Okay.
So for example, if you're looking for part-time jobs in restaurants, just because people are not visiting that restaurant, they won't need a lot of staff, because of which the employment would get affected, right?
Yeah.
So for the first 2 months, 2 months, 3 months, 2 months actually, I did not get a job at all. I was
Mhm.
applying everywhere. I I even applied for IT based jobs, part time and full time, because they had changed the rule recently for part time and full time jobs. But
Okay.
either way, I did apply for all kinds of jobs, not necessarily in my domain.
Yeah.
And finally, I got a job as a chef in a restaurant. That's what I'm doing right now.
Mhm.
Uh, so part time jobs you could do. Uh, Anyway, right? So like I don't know about like other countries, but in Canada, um, you could do a part-time job irrespective of whatever kind of course you're doing,
Mhm.
most likely. So especially full-time courses,
Okay.
MS or graduate
I've
certificate.
heard that a lot from Canadian students that you can work anywhere in a subway or say in McDonald's. But in US there are
Yeah,
restrictions on you working just on campus while you're registered as a student
yeah.
and you cannot work
Mhm.
off campus. But then here are they have dining jobs in the university itself because the university has a dining hall.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know how do these part times pay you per hour?
The minimum wage in Ontario is 15.5
Okay.
Canadian dollars per hour, and that that is true. I mean, that is what I'm getting paid, especially at the start. Uh, Now it could go higher, but it depends on uh, the kind of deal you crack and based on your experience. So,
Mhm.
for example, now as a chef, I'm working as a chef, but I don't really have an experience in cooking, right?
Yeah.
I've just made my own food here. So now when you apply for such jobs, they won't hire you with a higher pay,
Yeah.
because you have zero experience. They have no benefit of that. So yeah, that, it's like that. But it might vary, right? So there are certain people uh, who have all kinds of experiences in India.
Yeah.
Now, even if you don't have experience, there is a possibility that if you're good at communicating and just cracking deals, you just might end up getting a higher deal.
Yeah. For sure. So
Yeah,
it depends on how you are able to present yourself and get what you want.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So I could, give you an example where I did get this job uh, in a better way. So I got it through a lot of communication and through a lot of referencing around not just students of this college, but literally everyone. I was just roaming around and hanging out at every other cafe bar and just meeting new people and making friends and contacts. So
Got it.
that's how I got it.
That's great. So coming back to the course, are there any events in the college that help you decide what you want to do in the future? Maybe if somebody is looking for a job, are there any career fairs or
Yeah.
anything that helps you think about your future?
Yeah, so there are job fairs,
Mhm.
uh, and I had really high expectations from those, but they were honestly very useless. At least the ones that I've attended yet.
Okay.
Um, I came here, and the most of the jobs here were labor based and not in my domain. And it's like, so for example, if this college has say 10,000 students or more, uh, there are at least like uh, 2 or 3 thousand students who would want to get jobs, right? uh, I'm saying just throwing numbers, right?
Yeah.
So that is what happened indirectly here when in the last fest that I attended, the fair, I mean. So there was a queue outside the college, and it was ridiculous. It was unnecessary, and when I went in, it was totally pointless. Weren't even like conducting interviews or stuff like that. They were just getting resumes, and uh, each booth had like 50 stacked resumes for no reason, and it was pointless.
Yeah, I mean, until and unless you make some meaningful connections, there's no point in even
Exactly.
giving resumes to anyone.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, I wanted to know what full-time roles are you looking at? You mentioned that you want to pursue another degree. So, how did you decide on that? When did you apply?
Uh, so it wasn't the yeah. So I'll try to be clear. Uh, I am trying to pursue a job in development uh, domain, not necessarily web, but that is what I'm experienced in right now.
Okay.
So software development is what I'm looking at right now, and that is probably the kind of job that I'll be targeting once I graduate. Uh, and the course that I'm planning on doing in August is cloud ops. So that's a very technical field, and that there's no point in me explaining what it involves. But uh, so basically, in IT, I'm gonna try and get at, at least fresher jobs, and then maybe after a point when I gain enough experience, I'll decide if I want to pursue another degree, which is MS or MBA,
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah,
So you're gonna do another certification after this, but
yeah.
do you think it was like meaningful to do a project management degree in between two tech degrees? Or I mean,
That's an excellent question, because I honestly haven't really been able to answer that to myself. Because initially I thought that I just do project management and then I'll go for a job directly. But now after coming here, I just feel like doing that second tech course would give me an edge over others, which is why I'm doing it. So basically, I'm improvising, and if for example I knew things before, I would not have taken a path like this,
yeah.
uh, like in an odd way.
Mhm.
I might have done the same courses, but maybe in a different order
Yeah,
or whatever.
for sure.
Yeah.
So, because I have friends in the US who are pursuing their project management degrees and they're almost completing it, but they have like 2 years of work experience in India. Even those people are facing problems in the US to get jobs in project management itself. So, forget about tech. In even management side, they are not able to like grab a good opportunity with such less experience in management because they switch from BTech to project management.
Mm. Yeah. Uh, well, that obviously depends on the person and the person's capacity to, but it also depends on the location. For example, in US, from what I know, I'm not sure about this, but from what I know, there are many immigrants who are trying to get jobs, and just even trying to settle down there, and because of that, they're not as welcoming as Canada. And in Canada, the situation is somewhat weird. Like, there is a lot of population that is over 50 or over 40, basically over the working population, because of which they need people who work, and that is why they're more welcoming. The PR situation is also
Yeah.
way better than that of US.
Yeah.
And there are many factors, uh, but again, it's like, even here, it is like very imbalanced, because there are certain hubs, like education hubs, where there are a lot of students who are targeting the handful jobs which are
Yeah.
available, and
Mhm.
there are certain places where there are many jobs, but students just aren't applying there because they're already sort of settled in
Yeah,
that particular locality.
that's true. I mean, grabbing the right opportunity at the right time, at the right place, there are a lot of factors coming into picture. So, coming to the city in general, how's the community mix? How did you like it there? I mean, you've been here for like 3 months now. How was your experience?
So the Canada is very polite. They're very welcoming most of the time. Uh, it was good. The experience was definitely good. Uh, and yeah, one thing I could point out in the cons side, uh, that would be that because cannabis is legal here, people are the ones that are consuming it too much. They're just taking it very uh, weirdly, and there is a certain proportion of homeless population that you might have to look out for, but otherwise it's very safe and it's very nice.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, are there any suggestions for young aspirants who are looking to come to Canada, do a graduate certification in general?
Suggestions
Suggestions,
suggestions
advice, anything that you
uh,
did that you don't want others to do, or you didn't do and you want others to do?
yeah, that could be that, choose a proper intake, like September intake is the most common intake, but I took January intake because of which uh, my situation is different from the generic situation, and if you take the September intake, I think you'll get jobs easier than I did, and I still got my job quite early. Most of my friends and roommates, etc., they don't have jobs, and uh, so you know, yeah, you could like handle those situations, plan those situations beforehand.
Yeah.
Now, even after planning, because I did not know, I still messed up to an extent. Not that much, but I think that if you plan properly, after getting in touch with people who are there,
Yeah.
you'll be able to handle it way better than a general person.
Mhm. So I think talking to people on LinkedIn before coming to the university you want to go, or having just connections or WhatsApp groups with people who are wanting to come there really helps, in the initial steps or
Yeah,
just figuring things out for you.
definitely. Definitely.
Any last minute things for the people watching this video, Nachiket?
Uh, just go for it. No, uh, I don't know. Honestly, I believe that every person has his or her uh, own thing to do, and they know their situation the best, right? So uh, there's no point in like getting advice from people and following it to the point. You are the best judge of your situation.
Yeah.
I feel like if you are smart enough, generally you will be able to handle everything.
Mhm.
Just have a positive approach.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, Nachiket. It was great talking to you today.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye bye.